What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The catch fam. I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. Hope everyone has had a great start to the week. I hope your Monday has been the greatest Monday ever of your entire life. I hope you guys are ready for another live 2024 fantasy football mock draft here at the catch with you guys, with the catch fam. We're hopping into a full PPR 12 team mock. One quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, tight end, two flex spots, five bench spots. We're going to throw together some beautiful fantasy football squads for the upcoming fantasy season. And just in time, the 1.12 gets selected. So let me go ahead and throw out the final warning on Discord and Sleeper, and we will get this bad boy underway. Excited tonight. We've been running some great mocks throughout this weekend and to start the week, whether they are the off-air mocks or the mocks for live streams. You guys have been killing it. We're getting ready for the 2024 season. So I'm drafting from the 1.2 tonight. Getting some practice in for the Catch Fam League number 4. We have 4 leagues filled. I might do a 5th. We've got the Auction League filled. We've got the Superflex League filled. We've got our 4 Dynasty Leagues running. So we are cooking with bacon here in the community. All right, Lamb's gone at the 1-1. So give me C-Mac. Easy enough. I think these are your, I think you have 3 realistic selections from the 1-2. Lamb, Hill, C-Mac. I think Lamb or Hill are more likely. Some people are starting to argue for Breece Hall or Bijan Robinson at the 1-2. If you want to start your draft with the running back, C-Mac goes at the 1-1. I don't think that's crazy, but I would probably personally prefer to start with the wide receiver. It's going to kind of really depend, like, as this next final month of the offseason continues, because we're starting to see more mocks that are just aggressive at the running back position to start. So maybe you don't love who might potentially be there at like the 211, but I think as long as you can get a guy like Pacheco, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I like Pacheco, H.A. and Derrick Henry there at the end of the second, but it's like, I'm starting to see some mocks where you might just be able to get one of those guys at the 211. So it just kind of depends. But I think for the most part, you can get good enough value and then get a second wide receiver, beginning of the third. And we'll just kind of see how this next month progresses in terms of ADP. All right. So thank you guys for getting this mock filled. I know we ran an off-air mock right before this. If you guys aren't part of the Discord, make sure to join the links down below. That's going to be the best place for you guys to get our mock draft invites, let you know when I'm going live, as well as getting into our off-air mock drafts that I use for videos. All right, so let's see who's in the chat tonight. We got Tommy. What's going on, man? Mr. Sarcastic said he was too slow. I know it's that time of year. Got to get in here quick. Augie Rhythm, hello. Albert, what's going on, guys? How are you all doing? In terms of fantasy news for the day, we don't really have anything. We can just speculate. I almost put Puka Nakua on the thumbnail again tonight. Like, let's just speculate more about an injury that we don't know anything about, because that's all this really is. Now we have a report coming out that we did not have this report, at least at the time that I streamed last night, but Puka Nakua is considered week to week after suffering a knee injury. So what do we even say about this? This is like worse than knowing if he's injured or not. But Puka is week to week. Like, what are we supposed to say? I mean, we saw him jog off the field. We saw him come back out to the practice field and had ice wrapped on his knee. So, like, what are we supposed to say? We're probably just going to monitor this. I think most people are speculating it's a bone bruise for Puka Nakua. I mean, there's really no information I think that I know or that you know that can really help us here. So we just kind of have to sit back and accept what it is. All right, so looking ahead to the 211, I'm probably going wide receiver here. Goes Olave. Honestly, I love Nico Collins ADP on Sleeper, which means Cats will probably take him. But even then, like Aiyuk, Evans, Collins, like all available right here, I'm okay with. Good pick, Cats. And I think even if you go a little bit further, there's guys like Waddle. I'm okay with Devonta Smith. I'm okay with. Let's go Aiyuk. Let's, you know what? Let's stick to the Niners offense or the Browns offense or the Steelers or the Jets or the Patriots. Wherever Aiyuk is, I'm there with you, buddy. So we'll take him here at the 211. Then for me, I'm going to go back to the running back position at the 3-2 and either take Derrick Henry or Isaiah Pacheco. I'm okay with either guy there. Henry goes at the 3-1. I think he's a great RB1. If you draft from the 1.1, you're able to get Henry as your RB1. Do not fear. But I'm okay with Pacheco here too. We got an all Super Bowl team over here until Aiyuk maybe gets traded. It's officially JMO season, balling out in joint practice. Yeah. And getting more buzz from not Dan Campbell, but Ben Johnson. Is that his name? Their offensive coordinator? I think I got that right. I should know. So some good coach speak out there on JMO as well. But I have not seen his ADP necessarily move. Although I think everything we're referring to happened in the past like 24 hours or so. Panthers wide receiver Jonathan Mingo has been listed as a starter on the depth chart. So if you're a Jonathan Mingo truther, your time has not ended, supposedly. So what do we got here? Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, and then I guess Jonathan Mingo? Why do I feel like I'm missing somebody? Oh, Xavier Leggett. Sorry, Xavier Leggett. Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to be but that's the thing. It's like, what does that really mean to be a starter at wide receiver? It's like a wide receiver 6, technically a starter. I mean, we still got Terrace Marshall. I mean, that's the thing, right? We got Deontay Johnson, Xavier Leggett, Adam Thielen. Probably going to see those guys on the field majority of the time. Like, I don't think we're going to see a ton of Terrace Marshall. Here's the latest report from Sleeper, shining early in camp. So maybe, I don't. You can tell me. But it's like, yeah, it's like when you look at this depth chart, other than Terrace Marshall, you got guys I don't know. I'm not going to lie. Devin Tompkins. I know who David Moore is, but like from like Madden, Jalen Coker, he's a rookie out of Holy Cross. Mike Strachan, then some guy who I'm not going to lie, I cannot pronounce this guy's name. Amir Smith Marset. That might be correct. That may have been pretty good. So I think it makes sense that Jonathan Mingo is being listed as a starter. Should we react to this in any way? No. Please don't react to this news. Please don't. Keep drafting Deontay Johnson. If you're going to draft anyone else, it's Leggett or Thielen. Lord Bickett is doing just fine. He's doing good. If you're in the Catch family #1, he will be there. Do not fear. We'll be drafting with us. He will be in the league this year. I'm trying to get him to come on once before the season starts or right when the season starts for you guys. But Steven is doing good. The 1.7 has been feeling automatic double RB lately. Yeah, I think it's hard. If you start with Bijan, Hall, or Gibbs, I think going double running back is like, if you're going to pair them with a JT Barkley, even a HAET and Henry Pacheco, whew, I don't know, man. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. With hard to pass up, right? Bijan, Kyron, a lot of upside. Look at you going. Bijan, Kyron, Laporta, Hurts, a 0 wide receiver build. Interested to see how that turns out because he got a lot of upside elsewhere. Thoughts on Adam Thielen? I mean, I think Thielen's fine. Like, what's his ADP? I think he's going to regress this year with Deontay there and then drafting Leggett, who I just forgot about for a couple moments. But I think he'll be okay. He might have a couple games where he kind of pops because he still has that chemistry with Bryce Young, And this offense will be better next year. With Dave Canales as head coach, Bryce Young will have a better year. So, and overall, the offense itself will improve. So, I'm okay, I guess. But like, do I see any reason to like jump the fence and go draft him? No, but he's okay. It's fine. Like nothing more. All right, so I've been doing this strat lately, kind of what I call a bounce back strat. I always talk about it this time of year where I'm alternating positions. Whoever I draft in the first, I'm going to draft the opposite position, running back or wide receiver, and vice versa. If I go wide receiver in the first, But I think right here in this area, I kind of prefer to go like double wide receiver and then wait for running back to the six, especially when I like C-Mac and a guy like Pacheco. Although I will say the two wide receivers I was strongly targeting here. I mean, I'm surprised Tank Dell was available, but Tank Dell and Christian Kirk, and I like Amari Cooper in this range a lot too. But I like T. Higgins right here a ton. I think Pickens okay. I think McLaurin's okay if you want to go like maybe with a Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver here or Chris Godwin, Jaden Reed. I think there's still plenty of options. I just like this tier of wide receiver, especially as like a wide receiver 3 flex option. And then I just don't know who's going to come back at the 6'11", 7'2". I think there's okay running backs at that point as in comparison to taking. I mean, I think like Mixon, Walker, good here, but I think we can get good enough value as a RB3, especially once again when C-Macs are RB1, Pacheco's are RB2. I think that's perfectly fine. So Higgins, another guy that I just think like he's getting like the Brandon Aiyuk treatment, which it's funny that I go Aiyuk and Higgins in this draft, but it's like people are acting like Higgins did not sign like he's playing with the Bengals. It's like signed his franchise tag. Maybe you can make the argument as the season goes on, like if the Bengals are losing games or like he's gonna have a injury and rest, trying to get that contract next year or something. But I think Higgins in the 5th, I just think is a great value. So all right, and I like Flowers there at the 411, but that little range there, Cooper, Flowers, Dell, Kirk, Higgins, beautiful value. Even Devonta Smith and Cooper Kupp at the end of the 3rd, very good value. Tommy, how about my guy Jake Bobo getting in practice? Got nice hands. Any injuries? He should get his chance. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm like dynasty, right? Fine. Maybe a name to keep an eye on. But we got to be careful with coach speak, especially like if you're paying attention to like your team and you're paying attention to like reporters close to your team. I mean, some of these guys are going to look really good in practice. And we got to kind of see how it translates in terms of playing as a true wide receiver in the NFL. But I think it's also with Jake Bobo, who I know had a couple moments last year, but the issue is you got 3 guys ahead of him, like for sure, and to your point, I mean, any of those 3 guys could get injured, but I just think Metcalf, Lockett, JSN locked in, but sounds kind of harsh to say, but I think Lockett is the best chance of dropping out there, but we shall see. Don't want to doubt him. But a good name to maybe keep an eye on in Dynasty for sure. Dom, what's up, bro? Thielen was my GOAT last year until I accidentally traded him. Well, he really fell off kind of the second half of the season. First half of the season, I mean, honestly, it was probably pretty good trade value for you. I mean, really a player that you were able to sell high, so to speak, and move on from. That maybe paid off because second half of the season, he was very inconsistent, where weeks 1 through 8, double digits every game except for week 1. And I mean, then after that, week 8, 10, 11, 14-16. So what's that? I can't do math. 1, 2, 3, 5 double-digit finishes. Not awful. He was a wide receiver, close to wide receiver 1 last year. He was wide receiver 2, 17th in PPR. So was a good player to sell high when he did. Tresner, why would you be banned? What happened? Thoughts on A-Chain and Swift? So I love Swift where he goes in drafts. I think you guys know that. I've talked about DeAndre Swift a lot throughout the offseason. I talked about him a lot last year. I mean, that's just a player that I believe in, that I like. I especially like if you're going maybe a little bit lighter at running back, because I started to do some drafts this way. It's too hard to kind of target doing this every time, but like if you got like James Cook as your RB1 or Kamara, or maybe Cook and Kamara, then you got DeAndre Swift. Like think about the PPR upside on that team. Like those are just 3 pass catching backs, right? That you didn't have to spend like first round draft capital on. Like, so I think Swift is a really good running back to pair in on like a 0 RB build, a hero running back build, or even just a build where you're just looking at pure pass catching upside. So Swift does go here at the 6-9 to J Money, but I do like where he's going in drafts for sure. All right, a couple players I like here. We gotta go running back. It's either Zamir White, Raheem Mostert, or Ramondre Stevenson, who I'm okay with here too. Any of those guys, I think they're very close in tier. We'll take Ramondre. I think he's going to be fine. Patriots signed him to a fat contract. Was a little bit disappointing last year, to say the least, but also got banged up. And really, when you break it down last year, double digits in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. He was healthy. So that's 5 games with single digits. Really, 4 games because he got hurt in 1. So I like Ramondre. I think, whatever the quarterback situation is there in New England this year, they're going to have to rely on the running back position. But if you prefer Zamir White or Raheem Mostert, maybe even Najee Harris, I'm okay with all those names there. But I'll tell you who I can't pass on here at the 7.2 is Hollywood Brown. I mean, getting Hollywood as a wide receiver 4 in the 7th round just makes my feet kick. All right. And going back to Dom's question, thoughts on A-Chain. Yeah, I mean, I like A-Chain. I think especially if you're playing in multiple leagues this year, you have to take a shot on Devon A-Chain here and there. I mean, just way too much upside. I mean, the injury risk is there. If he falls to the 3rd, for example, like I think he's a smash selection. You just can't pass it up. But at the 2, 8 to 9, I think that's fine. I think I'm still drafting Henry before him for sure. And I think in some leagues I might go Pacheco over him because I feel like safer about Pacheco on the season. But yeah, I'll be drafting A-Chain this year. I have him as a keeper in 1 league. I'm fine with A-Chain. I think anything I have to say about A-Chain is what you're going to hear anywhere else. Upside, huge. RB1 upside on the season if healthy. But the one thing I will say that I've been talking about past couple weeks is Raheem Mostert is still going to be a part of this offense. There's just no way he just is not involved. Okay. He's not going to be the RB5 again. He's not going to have 21 total touchdowns again. But just think about the fact he had 21 total touchdowns. And if you don't believe me, the main thing I say is go back and look at the second half of the season. So week 13, for example, which actually I think week 13 is, no, it's not. Okay, so week 13, Devon A-Chain had 25 fantasy points, 2 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert had 12 fantasy points and still had a touchdown. And you look ahead to week 14, Devon A-Chain had 12 fantasy points. Raheem Mostert had 23 and 2 touchdowns. Following week, Jets, Devon A-Chain just 9.2 fantasy points. Raheem Mostert had 2 touchdowns and 18 fantasy points. Week 16, Raheem Mostert at home against Dallas had 12 fantasy points and a receiving touchdown. Devon Achane had 23 fantasy points and a receiving touchdown, 100 yards on the ground. And then week 17, Mostert did not play week 18, and Achane had double digits in both those games. And I'm sorry, mistake. Week 16, Mostert receiving touchdown, 12 points. Achane, bad game, 4 points, no touchdowns. It was week 17. I'm sorry, where Achane had that receiving touchdown. I was looking at the wrong line there. But yeah, Mostert didn't play those last 2 games. Achane hit double digits in both those last 2 games. So, Mostert can coexist with Achane. It might not be to the same level of upside, but like when you're getting Mostert in the beginning of the 7th round, like we see tonight, I just think he's a tremendous value. This Dolphins offense, one of the highest scoring offenses in the league last year. If they regress this year, they're still a top 10 scoring offense in the league as long as everyone stays healthy. So, I feel pretty strongly about Mostert at his ADP, but I'm definitely still taking shots on Achane for sure. You think Swift will be okay in Chicago? Yeah, I think he'll be fine. There's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. The offensive line is better than it was last year. The Eagles' offensive line was good last year. It wasn't like outstanding. Still better than the Bears for sure. But, I think he'll be okay. I think a rookie quarterback like Caleb Williams is going to have to check the football down. You look at the type of player that DeAndre Swift is, that's going to benefit him. And then I think they will be in the red zone more. And the thing that's easy to forget about the Bears last year, they ran the football like the second most in the league last year. You got the same head coach this year. I mean, I know like that might mean Roshan Johnson or Khalil Herbert's going to get touches. Plenty of people making that argument because basically last year they were just a committee backfield. But I think you sign Swift, you pay him that money. I the way I look at it is he's going to get plenty of value touches this year. So, and plenty of touches in the red zone as well. So, yeah, I have no fear of DeAndre Swift. I've been saying it all off season long, and I'm sticking with it. All right. Next draft pick here. Probably got to go running back in my RB4 gone. Couple names I like here, but I'll just go Javonte Williams. I think best chance of being a workhorse running back. That's what we want here. Get Ramondre, Javonte as our RB3 and 4, maybe on bad offenses, but she'll get plenty of touches. So we will get those guys behind Mostert and C-Mac. Move along. Monty went to Detroit and became a stud. I mean, Monty was good with the Bears. He just had kind of a problem staying healthy. And those weren't, the Lions offense was super efficient last year. They were a great offense. I'm going to go, there's 1 or 2 wide receivers I like here. But I just get to a point when Evan Ingram's here that I just don't want to pass on him. So we'll take our tight end 1. We'll move right along. But yeah, Monty was an RB4 in 2020, was the RB4 in 2024, was an RB2 in fantasy the 2 years after that. I mean, he was the RB17 last year in full PPR on Detroit. The year before, he was the RB24. So, that's a little bit further back, 7 spots back. 2021, he was the RB19. That's 2 spots back. 2020 was an RB4. Good. Best finish of his career. Then 2019, his rookie season, he was the RB24. So, once again, 7 spots back. So, last year, most touchdowns of his career at 13, most yards per carry, second most total rushing yards. But, I think the big thing was he was just in an efficient offense and got a ton of red zone touches too. So, Bears weren't necessarily an efficient offense when he was with the Bears. Misclicked Addison. Meant to go Worthy. These things happen. I think Addison's okay there. But if you have JJ, you probably don't feel great. Aiyuk refused to trade to the Patriots during the draft. Oh, I didn't see that. Browns are probably more likely. Steelers, Commanders out. Honestly, out of all those teams, I like the Browns, Commanders best. Steelers might be okay. A report just came out that Aiyuk's getting traded to either the Browns or Pats. Debo skyrocketing soon. So, chat. If Aiyuk is a Brown or Patriot, who do you draft first? Would you draft Brandon Aiyuk or Debo Samuel? Yeah, I think they're going to. Oh, do they have to trade Cooper? But yeah, I mean, I guess they only have Cooper for one more year. Evan Ingram in the 9th all day, 100%. Let's speculate. Where's Aiyuk going? I hope it's not the Patriots. I mean, I just hope it's not. Tell me a hot take. What's up, Yeet Man 143? Hot take. I'm really not a hot take person. You know, I kind of start early in the off season and then things don't become like I've been talking about Pacheco and Derrick Henry all off season long. Now it's like sometimes you see those guys go in the middle of the second round. If I had to come up with a hot take, Devonta Smith will have more fantasy points this year than AJ Brown. I just don't do like I think that could actually happen. I think Cooper Kupp could end up with more than Puka. But yeah. Zamir White will have more fantasy points than Aaron Jones, James Conner, or David Montgomery. Although I kind of really like Monty. So I was just looking at the 3 running backs gone there in the 5th, White gone in the 7th. Commanders, Steelers not in anymore on Aiyuk. Frown. Debo easy. I draft Debo first anyways. Fair. Yeah. Debo. All answers resulting in Debo. I was not prepared for this draft pick. I don't even know. Like, I've been chatting up a storm over here. Let's just get our quarterback. Let's go Burrow. Usually I wait at tight end and quarterback, but tonight let's knock it out the way. Go Burrow. I think we're okay. I think I said gotta go wide receiver this next pick, but I feel like I can kind of hold off on that position until my last 2 picks. So I might just go with another running back here. Yeah, I'll just go Gus the Bus. We are loaded at running back. C-Mac, Pacheco, Ramondre, Javonte, and Gus. Then we'll go double wide receiver to end, or maybe we'll spice it up. Derrick Henry gets 18 touchdowns. Hot take. That's not even a hot take to me. I mean, it's a pretty high number of rushing touchdowns, but I mean, the Ravens would have to score basically as much as the Dolphins did last year because that's how many rushing touchdowns Mostert had last year. But Gus Edwards had 13 rushing touchdowns in this offense last year. So, like, I don't think it's that crazy, but it is a high number for sure. Because the next highest rushing touchdown total, I actually don't know. Got to be C-Mac, right? C-Mac had 14. I mean, he had 7 receiving touchdowns. Monty's probably up there. He had 13. Kyron, who also missed a lot of time at 12. It's got to be C-Mac. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't feel like clicking through everyone. So, yeah, I could see that. Should have went wide receiver. We'll see who's there at the 12.11 and 13.2. I think we'll be okay. What's up, J Fitness? Sus bus. That's fair. I don't see Burrow or Dak before I drafted Kyler. I mean, Kyler's okay there. Didn't see Burrow or Dak. I mean, I think Kyler's fine right there. If there's plenty of people drafting Kyler ahead of Burrow and Prescott, but and I get it if you prefer one of those two over Kyler, but Kyler's okay. Plenty of upside. All right, so let me see. I can pull up. I'm going to Google Brandon Aiyuk. What comes up? So 22 minutes ago, sources report confirm the Patriots had the framework of a Brandon Aiyuk trade done with the Niners. Patriots had permission to negotiate with Ayuk's team. It's up to the receiver to decide where he'll land. Potentially huge news for the Pats. I mean, I understand. I mean, I get these athletes want to get their bag 100%. I mean, how can you blame them, right? But man, you just think about going from the Niners to the Patriots. Be very, very different quarterback play here. Browns and Patriots have worked out the framework of deals with the Niners for Aiyuk. Now it's up to Aiyuk if he'll take the deal. Refused to go to the Patriots when offered a trade on draft day. Okay, interesting. I get what you're saying now. So maybe he's probably going to end up in Cleveland, right? Here's a tweet from Doug Clausen. Don't know who this is. If I'm Aiyuk and the Steelers and Commanders are off the table, I'd stick with the Niners rather than take a few more million to play with unstable quarterback situations in New England and Cleveland. I mean, it's easy to say as like me or you, but a couple $1 million. I mean, this is why he's done this whole thing, right? All right, we'll see. And I just kind of wonder if we're going to see Amari Cooper on this team or not for the Browns if this trade gets done. All right, so Jaden Daniels fell here. I take Daniels at the 12-11. Tua's still available. But I think we go back-to-back wide receiver. I think you also go TJ Hawkinson, expecting to put him on IR and then have a great tight end room here. Go Brandon Cooks. I think Demario Douglas is okay. I think Malachi Corley's okay. I think Rashad Bateman, Michael Wilson, Randall Robinson's okay. Maybe Troy Franklin. At this point, you're just taking whoever you like at the position. I think you want to go Tua here, that's fine. You want to go TJ Hawkinson, that's fine. Cole Kmet, Pat Fryermuth, Luke Musgrave. I guess you could get a handcuff running back, a couple guys available, but I'm going to go DeMarcus Robinson all day long. You guys know that. We have a very strong wide receiver room, as is Aiyuk, Flowers, Higgins, Hollywood. But I do think that depth here is important. Yeah, I think I agree. Browns look like they're most likely. Wake me up when Aiyuk signs / gets traded. I'm bored of this drama. 110%. Get Pop. I do like Pop Douglas there. I'm okay with Brandon Cooks. I still think. I mean, I know there's been like Jalen Tolbert coach speak and hype, and but there's also been some good coach speak about Brandon Cooks. And you look back to Cooks last year, close to wide receiver 2, wide receiver 38. It kind of depends on your definition of a wide receiver 2, but was a fine flex player. Couldn't really trust him, but he looked between weeks 8 and week 18. He had double digits every game except for 4. And it's not like Dak Prescott's not going to need him. What they're dealing with over there in Dallas, but definitely agree Robinson a good pick here. All right, let's do some team reviews. Great mock tonight, ladies and gents. Okie doke. We got J Money, the 1-4. Goff went late round quarterback, paid off. Perfectly fine with Goff. Tua there. Tight end room looks good. Njoku or Hawkinson. Put Hawkinson on IR. Go hit the waiver wire. Rachaad White, beautiful at the 4-9. Smash that draft button all day long. I mean, if Rachaad White falls to the 4-11 here, I'm probably just going to take Rachaad White, even if I already have 2 stud running backs. Swift, I think, is fine as an RB2. Chuba Hubbard, good value. Nick Chubb, fine. The only thing that could be an issue here is maybe you have to put Chubb or Hawkinson on the IR. Maybe you have 2 IR spots in your league, though. Chase, Olave, Waddle, Pickens, Adunze, Brian Thomas Jr. And that's fine. I'd probably go. I mean, if you think these are the 2 best wide receivers here, I think that's fine. But I'd probably go I prefer Xavier Worthy over Rome Odunze. And then I'd probably go with a veteran wide receiver at 8-9. Although there wasn't really like Josh Palmer is probably your best option. So I probably might go running back there, then go for more of a veteran-esque wide receiver later in the draft. But you do have 4 solid wide receivers to start, so maybe the upside down the stretch is worth it here. So starting Goff, Njoku, White, Swift, Chase, Olave, Waddle, Pickens, great starting roster. Everyone stays healthy. You're in a good spot, and you got some nice bench material here as well. So solid. Pray. We got Kyler at quarterback, Mandrews at tight end, ETN, Najee, Eckler, Jalen Wright. Looks okay. St. Brown, DJ Moore, Pittman is a really nice start at wide receiver for you. Jaden Reed, Cortland Sutton, great wide receiver room. Mike Williams and Troy Franklin, fine, whatever. I don't know. There's no one at running back in the 12th or 13th, but I think that was more of a need for you than anything else. I mean, this team's pretty solid. Starting Kyler and Andrews, Etienne and Najee Harris, St. Brown, DJ Moore, Pittman, Reed. I think Eckler and Sutton are both guys you can fill in on your starting roster. So, I mean, I think these last 3 picks are fine because you're kind of just drafting for upside here. So, can't knock it. Pray you've been drafting pretty okay. Taylor, what's up, Bursky? T-Lock quarterbacks. Oh, I know Katz was fuming about that pick. Whew. Pitts at quarterback, or tight end, sorry. Pitts does not play quarterback. A-Chain Mixon. I feel like Mixon the 5th is okay with me. I think he's going to be fine to go like week 1. I think he's just having a very veteran-esque offseason, but just don't forget, I mean, in years he's been healthy since 2018. He's been a top 13 RB every year. Can't get this last year to highlight, but you guys can see it. And he's now on the Texans. Should be as efficient, if not more, than the Bengals. Brian Robinson, great in the 9th. Dowdle, I think, is good in the 11th, man. JJ, Debo, new wide receiver 1, Debo. Malik Neighbors, Addison, McConkey, Shakir, Mooney. You got to keep a close eye on Ricky Pearsall's ADP, too. This Aiyuk news looming. But yeah, you're starting T-Law, Pitts, A-Chain, Mixon, JJ, Debo, Neighbors, Addison. Maybe McConkey if Addison's suspended. Good. I mean, I think Brian Robinson, Dowdle can fill in on the bench. I think where you drafted Shakir and Mooney, those guys are good on the bench. So guys are getting sharp. It's that time of year. All right, Tommy, what did you do tonight? Meant to take Allen, not Hurts. Going to pair him with Coleman. Oh, well. Well, Allen was gone, but okay, you were trying to target Allen in the 4th, though. I mean, Hurts is okay. Going Hurts, Laporta, say no more. Bijan, Kyron, Walker, Ford, Algier. You're loaded at running back. Allen, D-Hop, Mitchell, Lockett, Wicks, Dotson. So this is a very interesting build. I mean, I know Kenneth is your guy, and I do think he's a good value there in the 5th. But I'm probably going wide receiver right there. Godwin, Rice, McLaurin, Ridley, Reed, any of those guys. Then I probably prefer any of those guys I just listed or Deontay Johnson over Keenan Allen, especially in your situation. Like you want to, with this type of build, I think look for like pure wide receiver 1s or the closest thing to it. I think Keenan Allen's good where he's going. We just got to remember he's going to have, DJ Moore, maybe a sprinkle Roma Dunze, maybe more of him as the season goes on, then Cole Kmet, maybe Swifty getting some touches, but he's still good value. So might make that change. But I mean, it's not to say that like you didn't get a good value and you got a great RB3 there. You're just loaded at running back. I'm not really in on AD Mitchell. Like I prefer Sutton, even Lad McConkey right there. If I'm going to draft a Colts wide receiver, it's going to be Josh Downs. A Colts wide receiver is not Pittman. Lockett, I think, is okay in the 9th. Wicks and Dotson, I like where you got them. But I'm just going to be a little bit more critical as we're in the month of August and just let you guys. I mean, this team's it's just an interesting build. But yeah, I'm going to try and be more constructive as we're in the month of August here. Just let you guys know my personal thoughts. Doesn't mean it's 100% correct. But you're starting Hurts, Laporta, Bijan, Kyron. And so I think this comes down to also if you're in a double flex or single flex league, Because right here, you're starting Keenan Allen, then, I mean, D-Hop's up in the air, right? I think that's the biggest issue is who's your wide receiver 2? I mean, even if AD Mitchell comes on, I mean, he's the wide receiver 3 on the Colts. And if he comes on, I think it's going to be as the season goes on. So it's probably pop, lock, and drop it, right? Which, how high is his ceiling? It's pretty inconsistent last year, but it was there at times. Wide receiver 32 is like just okay enough, but Wicks and Dotson, I think, are like flex plays. So, but you have so much upside at running back, quarterback, and tight end here. I mean, so maybe it outweighs that. So, I mean, I guess starting Hurts, Laporta, Bijan, Kyron, Allen, Lockett, or D-Hop, we'll say. Then I think you're flexing Walker. You might flex Jerome Ford. Wicks and Dotson could pay off, but it's like those might be situations that progress over the season. So it's an interesting build. All right, so reverse at the 111. Stroud at the 10th. Say no more. Schultz and Musgrave, good late round tight ends. Barkley, Cook, Kamara was a great stretch. I think this is a good team to get Jonathan Brooks on. We know he's going to miss time, but a nice upside play as the season goes on. You don't really need any help at running back with these 3 guys. Brown, Godwin, Ridley, Coleman, Shaheed, Myers, good wide receiver room. Yeah, I mean, these Shaheed, Myers, Pearsall, Downs, and like Dotson and Wicks. Probably the guys in terms of late round wide receivers that I prefer. So getting 2 of those guys, I feel good. I think it's okay to draft Coleman there, but I prefer like Christian Watson or Jamison Williams. But maybe you end up with the wide receiver one. We don't really know what this wide receiver room looks like right now. The like most recent practice I saw from the Bills, like there were some struggles on that team. It was a little bit alarming. But one player who did look really good was James Cook. Anyways, this is going to take some time. There's going to be some growing pains, but it could be fine. So, yeah, I mean, you're starting Stroud, Schultz, maybe Musgrave, but probably Stroud and Schultz. Barkley, Cook, Brown, Godwin. I think you can flex Kamara here, then flex Ridley. So, pretty solid. Good little bench, too. Cats. No Trevor Lawrence. Let's move on. Who's next? Just kidding. Caleb and Tua. I mean, I think Tua is a great. I'd probably draft Tua over Caleb. But I think this is fine. McBride, good. Jacobs, White, Brown, Spears, fine. Hill, Collins, Coop, Deontay, great start there. I like Downs in the 10th. Leggett, final wide receiver pick, fine. So, yeah, I mean, I know you like Spears. I think that's okay where you got him. I mean, I think running back is interesting here. But you're starting Tua, McBride, Jacobs, White. I think Jacobs will be fine by week. I mean, he's already returned to practice. I'm not overreacting to the groin injury, but then Hill, Collins, Cooper, Deontay. So your starting lineup's really nice. Chase Brown and Spears, good on the bench. Downs, Leggett, fine on the bench. Good team. Core roster looks really good, man. So, but yeah, no Trevor Lawrence. Your team sucks. Let's see. Oh, Allen over Laporta. Oh. It happens. All right, let's see. Ray Davis. Yeah, Ray Davis has looked good for the Bills. Agreed. Yeah, I haven't seen Keon Coleman, but I'm not saying it's not true. So I hope he does look good. I mean, like, I want someone to be a wide receiver one for the Bills. So team of the night. I think head to toe, I gotta go reverse. Stroud, Schultz, Musgrave. I mean, I like Schultz and Musgrave as late round tight ends, so maybe you guys disagree. I think this running back room is great, and Barkley, Cook, Kamara, Brooks, and I think the wide receiver depth here is really good. But I'm high on Shaheed and Myers where they get drafted. And Coleman's okay here. I might personally prefer one or two other guys who are still available. I think Ridley, Godwin, Brown, fine. But I think Stroud, Schultz, Barkley, Cook, Brown, Godwin, Kamara, Ridley's starting roster is pretty solid. And I might go reverse. I do think Cats had a really good draft. I don't think Caleb's necessary here. I'm not really drafting Leggett. I would probably prefer Wicks, Shaheed, or Pearsall, even Myers there. Probably prefer Myers straight up. I think Tua, McBride, Jacobs, White, Hill, Collins, Cooper, Deontay, super solid. So I also like Tamone's team though. T-Law, Pitts, A-Chain Mixon, JJ Samuel, Neighbors, Addison McConkey as your flex there. So I think that team's pretty dang good too. I mean, a lot of guys had a good draft tonight. I mean, Goff and Joku for J Fitness, White, Swift, Chase Olave, Waddle, Pickens. It's pretty nice too. If Jacobs is 100% healthy, he should go over ETN. Packers saying AJ Dillon's RB2 gives me so much confidence in a workhorse Jacobs top offense. I mean, yeah, I like Jacobs where he goes. I just like Henry and Pacheco a tad bit more. But this offense, it's similar. Like the Chiefs and the Ravens are going to be in the red zone a lot. Those two guys are going to get a lot of touches. Jacobs, Packers going to be in the red zone a lot. no reason to not like Jacobs where he goes. So I don't disagree with you. I just think there's been one or two guys for me that I've been drafting more there. And I think with ETN is still gotta remember his RB3 last year. So I mean, I think the only concerning thing here is we're getting like reports of Tank Bigsby getting more touches, but I mean, I get it. I would rather not draft ETN at the 2-7 and draft Henry Pacheco or Jacobs beginning the third all day long. Yeah, Schultz being slept on. That's my dude. Leggett and Worthy can't even beat press. They suck. Here's the thing. Like, I know there's that highlight of Worthy going around that doesn't look good, but it's like Worthy's not going to have to really play against the situation with Worthy is it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to have Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, and even Pacheco on the field. They're going to be able to do all kinds of unique things with Xavier Worthy. I mean, those three Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers, like, I'm just trying to get a piece of one of them on a majority of my rosters because these guys are going to have super high ceilings and be great flex options throughout the season. So, I mean, Leggett might be right. One thing, like, I don't have a problem fading him, but Xavier Worthy, like, I'm going to take shots on. The upside is way too high. I don't really care if he looks bad against press coverage and practice, Yeah, I'm not really scared of Tank Bigsby either, but some people overreacting to the reports. But I think ETN's fine where he's going, All right, let's roast this team. Burrow and Ingram, we got good value at quarterback tight end tonight. Don't know if I'm really relying on that to happen by the time it's time to draft. C-Mac, Pacheco, Ramondre, Javonte, Gus Bus. We got a great running back room here. Aiyuk, I think you could go with a couple names over Aiyuk there, but there's your newest New England Patriot wide receiver, Cleveland Brown wide receiver leading my team here. Flowers, Higgins, Brown. I think we got great value between the 4th and 7th there at wide receiver. Cooks and Demarcus Robinson, you could argue over these guys, but I'm fine with them where they went. So Burrow, Ingram, C-Mac, Pacheco, Aiyuk, Flowers, Higgins, Hollywood. Beautiful. Good running back depth here. Nice upside picks at wide receiver for the bench. So can't complain. All right, ladies and gents, there's another mock draft in the books for everybody. Good fantasy discussion tonight. Appreciate you guys coming out. Tomorrow, I'll have a mock draft dropping for you guys. We've had videos coming out every single day. That's not going to stop. Yeah, it's that time of year, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you guys go check out the videos. That's really it. Be back on tomorrow. We'll keep grinding. Trying to do whatever I can to help you guys win your fantasy leagues this year. Okay, I have 4 leagues filled for redraft. We have the Superflex League filled as well. We have the Auction League filled as well. So that's 6 leagues and the 4 Dynasty leagues. So thank you guys for helping me get everything filled for the year. But if enough of you guys ask, I will do one more redraft league this year. Single quarterback, PPR, double flex, $20 buy-in. If you guys start coming at me, I will put together a 5th and final league. Let me know. We'll go from there. All right, guys. Have a great night. Thank you for mocking. Great mocking all around tonight. Thank you guys for the fantasy discussion in the chat. Fantasy questions. I think tomorrow we're going to run a super flex mock. So make sure you guys are coming out if you are in a super flex league this year. And if you're not, come out anyways and talk some fantasy. All right. Love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the catch, fam. Talk to you guys soon. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the catch. And